Hello mums, it's Nikki here. You'll have to laugh at this. We just did this whole thing, but I accidentally put it on my own Facebook page, so none of you would have seen it. So here we go, we're having a take two. Tonight I am making what we like to call our best ever potato bake. We love it. I've been making this for years and the kids love it. I often make a double batch if we've got a big crew coming around for a barbecue or if we're going somewhere. But tonight it's just for the kids. We're going to have our potato bake with a nice piece of steak and just a fresh green salad. So I wanted to show you what we put in ours before we get started with the mixing. Let's have a look over here, Abs. Obviously there's going to be some potatoes that we put in it, but then what I like to do is make up a really nice creamy sauce. So what I will usually do for my creamy sauce is I'll put in some cream. So you can use a pouring cream, a thin pouring cream, or you can use a thickened cream, whatever you like there. I like to put in a bit of sour cream as well. I love the texture that gives that. What I will then do is you can use a tin of soup, but what I wanted to try tonight, because we've actually got these Woolworths fresh soups on review on the Mouths of Mums website at the moment, and they are 4 for $10 at Woolworths at the moment, so you can actually get 4 of these soups. There we go, we've got creamy mushroom here, and I've got the potato and leek soup there. You can actually get 4 of these, which are unreal for lunches or just snacks if you need to have a quick early dinner, just add a bread roll. But I got some of these today when I was doing the groceries. And if you love a really mushroomy flavour in your potato bake, which some people do, you could actually add that mushroom soup to these ingredients here. We have got some fresh mushrooms that we're going to add as well. So I'm actually going to use the potato and leek soup tonight, which I think is going to create a beautiful flavour base for our potato bake. I will add a few extra little things. I've got some mushies here, obviously. We've got some, that's just one medium onion cut up. You can use a white onion, a red onion, or a brown onion, whatever you like. I've got some little capers there. Now, obviously, they're optional. If you don't like capers, don't put them in. I like to stir in a nice teaspoon of mustard. You could use a mild mustard. You could use a Dijon mustard. You could use a hot English mustard if you liked a little bit of fire. I've got half a cup of wine. Yes, I know, I always seem to have leftover wine. I'm a bit cuckoo, aren't I? And then I'm going to put some spring onions through, and then we'll put lots and lots of tasty cheese grated on top with some, we'll top that with pine nuts. Now, often what I will do is put some bacon through that as well. What is really lovely, if you had it, you could lay some strips of prosciutto on top, right on top of the cheese and everything, or if you had some pancetta, if you really like that, that would actually bubble away beautifully on top. So let's put our sauce together. I'll show you what I do with the potatoes. So you can see here I've just got an oven-proof baking dish, and I've just put a little bit of butter around the inside of that, of the lip of that dish. And then with my potatoes, I've just used smallish potatoes. I don't bother peeling them, because they are so beautifully clean anyway. And then I literally just slice them through, and each slice is just a little bit under about 1/2 centimetre. So that will cook through quite quickly because that's quite finely sliced. Often what's really nice, I love doing, is alternating potato with sweet potato. So we actually do a little combo there, which gives it another beautiful flavour. I only had potatoes tonight, so I thought I'd stick to a classic. So then what I do is pretty much just put our, can you see in there, Abby? That's a bit tall for you, isn't it? So what we'll do is we literally just combine all of our wet ingredients. So we'll put that nice fresh cream in there. There we go, put that cream in there. Now some people like to put a bit of corn flour or a little bit of plain flour in with their potato bake, but I find that the starch from the potato tends to give me enough thickening for me. Now obviously that white wine is optional. I'm actually not going to put all of that in. That's about 1/4 cup of white wine. That's completely optional. I just really love the flavour that a white wine puts through the sauce. So this is this potato and leek soup here from Woolies. You can see that that's beautifully thick. So that's going to give it some nice flavour, and it's kind of echoing the spring onions that we're going to put through as well. So that's that potato and leek soup there. So this is looking quite good at the moment. And then what I'll do is literally pop in that little teaspoon of mustard. I just use a mild mustard because that suits us fine. And then I've got those capers. Again, completely optional. If you liked pepper, you could put some green peppercorns through here. That would actually be lovely too. So I just really like those flavours. So there you go, a super quick little mix. Put that through there. So that's our sauce ready to go on. The other thing I'm going to do is literally put a couple of garlic cloves through that. So we'll just crush those down there, give that a good squeeze.
I remember last time we did
Last time I sent the garlic flying, didn't I, Abs? That was crazy. It was the first time we were ever cooking together, and I knocked the garlic right across the kitchen, didn't I?
Yes.
That was very funny. And then
You knocked it into the bin.
I knocked it into the bin. I nearly wet my pants. I couldn't stop laughing. So then what we'll do is I'm actually going to then just put all these veggies over the top of this. And then what we'll do, there we go, those lovely little mushrooms. You could leave these whole if you wanted to. If you had bigger mushrooms, you could actually wedge them in between those potato slices. That's completely up to you. They are quite pink inside, aren't they? They're just button mushrooms. So there we go, we'll do that. Then with your onions, as I said, you could actually wedge some of these in between those slices.
The onion goes really nice between the
onion's lovely,
potato.
isn't it? If you don't like the slices, or if the kids don't actually like getting a lump of onion, you could slice that, you could finely dice that onion so that it would pretty much blend into that sauce completely. But I just like chunks in my potato bake because it kind of gives it nice dimension. Kind of gives it lots of nooks and crannies for the sauce to kind of work its way into as well. So there we go, we're just going to wedge those in there. Poke them in there. There we go. It gives you lots of nice little hills and valleys for what, Abby? That cheese to sit on.
Yes.
I like having not quite a flat top on anything because I find when there's nice little hills and valleys and you've got toasted, like you've got tasty cheese or something on top, you get a beautiful toasting effect. Where some little parts are really well toasted.
My dressing gown.
You've got your dressing gown. I know, you were cold, weren't you, when you got home? So there we go. So that's our onion done. That's looking good. And the other one we're going to do is get our spring onions. I think I've cut up a few too many veggies here. I was being a bit ambitious with our dish, but that's okay. What I will do and what I recommend is when you actually pop this into the oven, sit it on another flat baking tray, just in case you get your sauce going over the top. There we go. Because then if it does drizzle over the top, do a bit of a dribble, it's much better for it to go onto a baking tray than all over the bottom of your oven.
Easier to clean.
I think there is nothing worse than having a big spill in the oven and then having to actually go in there and try and clean it up later on. So that is looking pretty. I love the look of all of that together there. So literally now all we need to do is pour our sauce over the top. You come back a bit over here, Abs, and then we can see that so we don't just see the bottom of the bowl. So literally just pouring it in slowly. You can see that it's starting to work its way in. It's nice and thick too. Obviously that's going to thicken up a little bit more once it gets the starch from the potatoes. But what I then do is just give it a little bit of a work through. This soup's actually got some chunks of potato in it too, so that's going to be quite nice.
It's probably because it's potato soup.
Oh yeah, often a potato soup is just like a cream, like, you know, completely blended up, but it's kind of nice that there's a few chunks of soup in there, isn't there? The chunks of potato, sorry, I should say.
It would taste weird if it was blended.
Haven't you? No, just like pumpkin soup.
Oh.
There we go. So that's ready. So now what do we want to do, Abs? Let's
Cheese.
pop him over there and we're just going to grate. You can put as much cheese or as little cheese as you like over the top here. So this is just a tasty cheese. If your family liked a nice strong taste, you could even go a bit of blue. You could put a bit of blue cheese through that sauce. Abby's screwing up her nose. But because we are making this for the family, I'm just going to use a tasty cheese. Mozzarella would be perfect. Parmesan would actually be beautiful. I didn't have any Parmesan. But you can see that I'm doing a nice fine grate there. So again, that's all going to go down in between that potato. And you know what? This is actually a really good way to use up. So I did actually I don't think it was sealed up properly in the fridge from the last time I used it. So it has dried out a bit, but this is the perfect way to use it up. There we go, look at that. So I love our little microplaner. I just love the way it gives you such a fine grate. So literally I'm going to put that now into a moderate oven.
You forgot the pine nuts.
Now I'm going to put them right on top.
Oh.
Because they'll go nice and toasted. I love a toasted pine nut, that is for sure. So that is looking pretty good. There we go, look at this, all that washing up. So yeah, we've got our pine nuts here, and obviously depending on whether you like nuts, you can put them on. If you don't like nuts, don't put them on. But we love some pine nuts, and I love anything that's going to give a dish an extra bit of crunch. This is where you can actually sprinkle that over the top, and obviously that would go beautifully toasted and golden brown. So what we're going to do is we'll put it in the oven and probably at about 170 because we have a fan forced oven. And then that's probably going to need about 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. Just keep checking it as you go. You might need to rotate that. But as I said, pop it on the baking tray, pop it in the oven. I will put the recipe. I'll also put a link to the from the first time you're here, please like us so you can stay in touch. We'll also put all of these videos up onto our YouTube channel, so look for us at Mouths of Mums on YouTube. But thank you for joining us. It's always lovely to have you here. Lots of love. Bye bye.